What's up? It's your boy back at it again with another video. Today we're gonna do another video, but today it will be a little different topic. I wanted to talk about how to compete and some things I've learned over the years of how to compete well and what not to do, what to do. So yeah, let's get started. I'm not analyzing, this dude. Uh, because I just don't know. I just don't want to do a face cam, so you'll just see a picture. Here, let me put him in a more interesting pose. There we go. Look at that. Anyway, um, so anyway, let's get back to topic. um, so I wanted to talk about first some of the things to do for competition. Well, some of the things to bring. One, an umbrella, because well, let me explain the reasons why later. So, number one, umbrella. Number two, a towel, preferably a white, clean towel. Three, obviously, like the stuff you need to throw, like your shoes, your wrist straps, your whatever, tape, whatever you need, your elbow sleeves, knee sleeves. Um, Four, water is essential, which I'm sure everyone knows, but I'll explain why it's really essential in a minute because I think some people overlook it. And food, I guess that can go as four too. Water and food, um, and I think that's it. Like those are really the Oh, and a chair. Sorry, yeah. Number five, a chair. So let's start with the what did I say? Oh, the umbrella. One, because, well, the reason you want an umbrella is one, because it might be raining, you know, and you need to keep your stuff dry. Two, even if it's not, you want to be in the shade, and a lot of stadiums, especially in the throwing areas, do not have shade. Okay? So you need to stay shade, because if you just stay out in the sun, just sitting around, or even worse, standing around, you're going to get tired and you're going to get fatigued. I'm sure anybody who's been to a track meet knows the feeling, okay? Number two, is the towel. One, you want the towel just, to clean your implements off, wipe your hands off. Towel has a lot of uses. Wipe sweat off your neck, or your hands, so your implement doesn't slip off. Um, and you can also wear it as a hat. You can just drop it over if you want to drape it over your head. If you want to see what it looks like to do that, watch the 2004 Olympics qualifying for shot put in Athens, because they are all wearing that, because you want the white towel because it will block out a lot of the sun, and keep your head cool. So you won't get that fatigued as easily. Um, and yeah, so what did I say for number three? Oh yeah, food and water. So water, especially if it's hot outside, because track season's usually in the summer, and if you're somewhere, California, Texas, somewhere where it's hot, you need water, because you need to drink a lot of water. I would recommend getting a gallon water, and probably drinking 2 gallons of water during a track meet, because, or 1.5 gallons at least. Well, at least a gallon of water, because when you're out there in the sun and all that, even if you're in the shade, the sun will dehydrate your body, so you need to keep replenishing that, because the water is gonna help your muscles stay relaxed, help them recover faster, and all that. I mean, water's important, and you just need it to live, so that should be reason enough. And food, because your body burns a lot of energy and stuff at meets. So you need, especially as a thrower, you need to be eating a lot during a track meet. Okay? But space it out. Don't just eat like a bunch of like 10 sandwiches at once and then just call it a day. Okay, like space it out. Okay? And then number 5, a chair, because usually I don't like my athletes or my teammates or me just sitting on the ground, because usually it's grass or asphalt, and one, you'll get itchy, which is just a distraction you don't need while you're trying to throw a PB. So, and two, because you'll be laying on the grass and like bugs will get in and ants will get in your pants and stuff, It's it's just not a pleasant day. And you also want a chair because it provides lumbar support, so you'll relax your back and your core, so that doesn't get fatigued so easily. Okay? So, now that we got that stuff covered, let's move on to some tips. One other thing I'll mention is try and find shade. Wherever possible, try and find shade. And also, try and find a way to relax. And maybe for a lot of people, they don't like watching the throwers actually throw, because it gets their mind moving and their body moving. Not body moving, but they'll start thinking about stuff and overthinking stuff, and they'll worry about the competition and all that. So I personally, when I competed, never liked watching the people before me compete, or in the other events. I had to sometimes when it was my own teammate, because I had to cheer them on. But in terms of the competition and all that, I usually didn't like watching it. Because it got my adrenaline up too early, and you don't want that adrenaline up too early, because then you're just gonna be sitting there with a bunch of adrenaline, and you'll get fatigued real fast, both mentally and physically. So yeah, so try and find shade. Try and bring some headphones or something. Just watch videos. For there are so what I personally like to do is watch a bunch of videos, like comedies and stuff, or something that would make me laugh and relax, to keep my adrenaline as low as possible. Okay, and then usually as I got closer to the time I would compete, I would start watching throwing videos and stuff, and montages of this dude or other people, just to get that mental image in my head. Basically, my technical models I would watch, just to get me hyped up and get that mental picture in my mind of what I wanted. Okay? But that's just me. Some people, everyone's different. So you got to find what works for you. But I just found that for me personally, I competed a lot better as at super relaxed, almost sleeping. Not almost sleeping, but you get what I mean. I hope. Just relaxed, not really worrying about that much in the world. Not really even focused on my throw. I didn't really think when I threw in comp, as you really shouldn't, because you shouldn't really have anything to think about. You should just be dialed in already. So, another tip has to do with your coach. Now, I know usually most athletes do not have control over their coaches. But if you're someone who doesn't like your coach talking to you during a meet, because I personally didn't like that, I would recommend the day before, or before you throw, or when you get to the meet, tell your coach do not talk to me when I'm competing. Okay, I know what I'm doing wrong. Okay, if you're gonna just say, I'll ask you what I'm doing wrong. Okay, but then some people like a full blown blow by blow, like what I want, like what they're doing wrong and all that. So you have to find what works for you. Okay, because I know some coaches, believe me, I've experienced it, can make things a lot worse by just saying a bunch of stuff that doesn't mean anything rather than just saying a couple words. Like I like this rule for a coach. At a meet, the general rule, do not say more than 5 words to the athlete you're competing at, okay? If you're gonna give them technical advice, do not like give them a life lesson or like bunch of numbers and stuff. Like throwers aren't rocket scientists, okay? Just say, "Oh, you're not getting over your left," or something like that, okay? Um, but hey, I'm not here to tell coaches and athletes like what to do. This is just my personal experience. So you have to find what works for you. Okay. What works for me does not work for you, doesn't work for a lot of people. It might work for some people. Okay. But let's move on to the warm ups. Because I hear this all the time, and believe me, I'm guilty of this too. I'm the warm up champion and the practice champion. Okay. The biggest thing I learned from the years is you see people like Joe Kovacs. I'll just use him as an example because there's the most videos of like his big warm up throws. When you look at his warm up throws and you see him throw like 23, 24 meters and he's yelling and going like calm speed, that is generally not what you want to do. Okay? That's what works for him. But you notice if you ever watch videos of people warming up, or like elite people, a lot of them do not try at all. They go like 60%. Because warm ups, I think people forget, are warm ups. You know, you're not trying to throw very far in the warm ups because nobody cares how far your warm ups go. They care how far they go in the meet. Okay? So generally, go like 60 or 70%. Really just use the warm ups to find your timing, get used to the circle or the runway, and don't try very hard. Like just find a good release, good rhythm, good feelings all over, okay? Because you want to save that energy for the comp, okay? And the next thing, after the warm-ups and the comp, okay? The most important thing is do not try new stuff in a meet, okay? If you don't like your technique, or you're like, oh man, my technique sucks, and then you see someone else like do something, they're like, oh, I want to try that. Do not do that. That is the worst thing you could possibly do in a meet, is try new stuff. Okay, you gotta work with what you got. Okay, because if you try new stuff, it ain't gonna work well. Okay, believe me, it will not work well. I've seen it and I've done it. It will not work well. Okay, don't try new stuff. Don't try and just copy people you see competing against you and whatnot. You know, just do with what you know. And the important thing is, you should never throw at 100%. The rule is, and I'm sure if you ask a lot of good people and a lot of good coaches, the rule is go as fast as you can without your technique breaking. So if that means you go 70%, you go 70%. Okay? But generally you never go 100% ever. Like effort. I'm talking about effort. Sorry, I should have been more clear with that. Effort. Like it's as fast as you're comfortable with without breaking technique. Okay? Because if you have never practiced going more than like 80 or 90% and you try it for the first time in a meet, you can injure yourself, or even worse, you can just throw really bad. Well, okay, I shouldn't say even worse. I should flip that. Or even worse, you would injure yourself. Sorry, yeah. Gotta keep my priorities, you know. All about the distance, baby. Let's go. But anyway, um, sorry, I'm off topic. Ugh, man. What the? Oh, yeah, yeah. So yeah, do not try new stuff. Because I think people forget adrenaline. Usually, what you throw in practice. So say you throw like around 15 meters in shot put in practice. In a meet, adrenaline. If you do that same throw that you did in practice in a meet, this is all theoretical because the likelihood of that is not very high because we're not robots. But theoretically, okay, let me get a little sciencey here for you guys. Theoretically, if you throw like 15 meters, like on the dot in practice, you get to the meet and you do the exact same throw to the tee at the same speed, same positions, and everything. Adrenaline alone will make that like a 15-30 to like maybe 16-meter throw. Just because adrenaline basically is like a natural steroid for you. Okay, and if you don't get adrenaline out of meet, I don't even know what to tell you then. Then I guess you just don't care. But or I mean, I shouldn't say that. I mean, I'm not a psychologist or anything. I've never met anybody who doesn't get adrenaline out of meat, so I don't even know what to say about that, but I'm sure you can find videos about that. But that like little jittery like people think it's like nerves like in a stuff. It's just adrenaline. Okay? And you want to use that. Don't be scared of adrenaline. You just got to learn how to control it. And how you control it is you just go the same speed you usually do in practice. And it once you master that and then add the adrenaline, that's when you start popping off in meets and start being consistent and all that, okay? Because if you add speed from what you do in practice plus the adrenaline, you're just going to get all out of tempo, all out of rhythm. It's going to be coming off your hand. You're just going to be falling all over the place. And you won't have a very swell time. So that's probably, if you're going to take anything away from this video, it's that. That is probably the biggest thing that's helped me. I like to think of myself, I've been a pretty consistent thrower. I haven't really had any like doo-doo performances. I've always been within a meter or two of my PR at meets. Obviously don't quote me on that, but for what I can remember from high school to college, I've been very consistent, and it's because I learned how to master that early. Okay? And it's also good to practice at high speeds too. Because I mean, yeah, because you need to learn how to handle high speeds. So like throw lightweight implements or stuff like that just to practice speed. Okay? Because if you've never like thrown fast and and you don't know how to use it or have never done it and then you get to the meet, the adrenaline might screw you up, okay? I hope that makes sense. I'm not the best with words. I don't think I've ever really made a video like this before either. But yeah, so and again, I just want to preface this is all my opinion. You can say all this is, hoo-ha or whatever. But yeah, these are just my opinions, things I've seen over 11 years of competing and coaching and all that, okay? So, yeah, those are the biggest things. And the one other thing I'll say is if you do have a bad performance, just forget about it. Well, I shouldn't say forget about it. I will say if you have a bad performance, think back to why it was a bad performance. Did you do something different than what you usually do? Did you eat something bad? Did you how did you feel like before the warm-ups? Like what was your mental state? And if you can then you think of something that you did that could have caused your bad performance, learn from it. If you do not learn from a bad performance, then it's a bad performance. But if you just like everyone has bad performance. Everyone sucks once in a while. Okay, it's inevitable. I don't care if you're this guy or a freshman in high school. Okay, everyone has bad performances. Okay, but you need to learn from the bad performances so that you can prevent them. Okay. And the other thing, I'm sorry, I lied. The one other thing I'll say is build consistency in your technique. Okay? Because if you have consistent technique that you can replicate, you will throw a distance. Like you want to get to a point when even if you're feeling really bad that day, you know you can throw a certain distance. Like for me, I know no matter how bad I'm feeling, I can throw over 15 meters plus in shot put. But that's if I'm feeling really bad. But if I did that, I would foul out. um. Okay, but I know for me, no matter how bad I'm feeling, I can at least throw 15 to like 15, 30 meters. Okay, because if you do not have confidence in your technique, you will never be consistent and you'll never throw well. You need to have confidence. Okay, and that comes from consistency in practice, just replicating the same things over and over again. Don't work on one, like a different thing each day, okay? Like that's a different topic. But you want to have that confidence in yourself that no matter how bad you think you're feeling right now, or that you are feeling that day that you meet the confidence that you could still throw a certain distance just relying on your technique. Okay? And that will relieve a bunch of pressure, because I've ran into people that are like, oh man, I don't know what I'm going to do today. Like, I don't know. I'm feeling bad. I don't think I can throw well today. But you need to have the confidence to throw a certain distance at a meet, because that's what's going to get you to score points at like conference meets and championship level meets. Okay? Because sometimes a lot of people, they really underperform at meets. At a conference meets, because they cannot deal with the pressure and all that. Okay? But as long as you have that confidence, that's going to relieve a lot of the pressure. At least I would hope it would. It did for me. Okay? So, like my last conference meet, I sprained my thumb and my hand swelled up to like the size of a softball. I couldn't release a shot put. And it happened during warm-ups. I still threw, I think, 1545 with just palming it, and was an inch away from making finals. Because I still had the experience and the confidence in my technique to be able to do that. Okay? So that's what I'm talking about. Like I was really disappointed, but I still wasn't freaking out about it. Okay? So I hope this video helps people compete. Sorry, ramble. Oh my god, it's almost 24 minutes long. Sorry about that. I like to ramble on and get off track. So I hope this helps some people. And see you later.